Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have declaration of the head of state on the situations of COVID-19 in Djibouti. The epidemic is not slowing down. 65 new positive cases at COVID-19. For the international scene, pandemic in the world, COVID-19 is 10 times more deadly than influenza. Welcome to our newsroom. The head of state, His Excellency ISMAIL Omar GUELLEH, said in a statement, I'm speaking to you again today to tell you about the situations in our country and our fight against this global COVID-19 pandemic that is causing hundreds of thousands of deaths around the world. It is to tell you about our strategy, our objectives, and the expected results of these battles we are waging against the coronavirus in order to save our population. So far, 2 people have died from COVID-19. Peace to their souls. Many have been cured and released from hospital. On this occasion, we encourage and congratulate the medical and paramedical staff who have dedicated themselves in this merciless struggle to save their compatriots. Encourage you to continue your effort to overcome this pandemic. My congratulations, said the head of state, also go to the country's defense and security forces, namely the National Police, National Gendarmerie, the Coast Guard, and all the military personnel involved in this cause. I urge them to persevere and continue the fight to protect the population, which is their duty. To fight COVID-19, there are 2 general strategies. There are those who advocate taking care of those affected once they are really sick, and the one that consists of treating the exile once it is detected. This is the one we have chosen in order to avoid all forms of complications that would be difficult to treat later and to avoid unnecessary suffering for the patient. In order not to contact this virus, we have put in place numerous barrier measures, namely regular hand washing, social distancing, and confinement, which is to stay at home. It is for the salvation to all of us. It makes it know that as soon as you do not observe the containment and leaves your home, you become a vector for spread of the virus and represent a potential danger to yourself, to your direct environment, especially your elderly relatives and the people you are going to visit. The reason is simple. No one knows that you are a carrier of the virus. Therefore, you endanger all these people without knowing it. I ask you again and again to stay in your home, protect yourselves, and protect others, said the head of state. The head of state, His Excellency ISMAIL Omar GUELLEH, said in a second part, in a statement, he said, for our part, as a government, we will spare no effort to protect our population and to overcome this pandemic. The results of the 2 weeks spent in containment remains encouraging, but the task is far from over. As I said before, this requires respect for social distancing and containment. As far as workers are concerned, we hope to be able to authorize good willing construction workers to return to work for a limited period of time. Again, I return to the issue of containment and congratulate those who have respected it, continue to respect it, and urge them to continue this very commendable actions, which is a duty to their nation. My congratulations also go to the generous donors who are participating in the solidarity drive to save the population and effectively combat this pandemic. Their actions are also dedicated by our holy religion. Our strategy and containment measures have prevented mass contaminations which could have overwhelmed our health system with a massive influx of patients. This judicious choice was the cause of the situation and the control of this dreadful pathology, which claimed only 2 victims who were suffering from other serious illnesses and whose condition was already critical. In view of the current situation, we have chosen a new extension of the confinement from 7 to 10 days. Dear compatriots, this period should enable us to better fight this pandemic. I ask you once again to respect the containment and barrier measures. It is by acting together that we will defeat this disease, said the Head of State ISMAIL Omar GUELLEH. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saleh Benoit Turab, made a statement on Tuesday, April 14, 2020. The data of the day of the COVID-19 cases are as follows. 407 tests performed, 65 COVID-positive cases, 65 people remain under surveillance in the quarantine center, 307 patients currently under treatment in the management center, 12 healed today. Epidemic is not slowing down despite the insistent messages of the Ministry of Health and the effort of the police forces. We note that the restrictions on the unhelpful movement, the measures of containment, as well as the gestures that have been hindered are not respected by everyone. The daily press briefing is intended to inform you so that you can take the right measures of the seriousness of the situation. Our duty is to inform you at the same time as the strict respect of this measure. Finally, the assessment of the cases of COVID-19 in Djibouti since the beginning of the pandemic is as follows. 5,356 tests have been carried out, 363 positive cases, 53 patients held, 2 deaths. Respect all the barriers and stay at home, said the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health. Also in news from the country, the Minister of Communication in charge of Post Telecommunication, Radwan Abdullahi Bahdon, and his colleagues from the Ministry of Muslim Affairs, Culture and Waqf Property, HASSAN Barre, hosted a meeting to raise public awareness about the fight against COVID-19 in our country. This important meeting was attended by Secretary General of the Ministry of Communication, Ahmed Yusuf Almi, Director General of the RTD, Mahmoud Suleiman Hared, on the side of the Ministry of Waqf, Director of Culture, Duali Hassan, Director of High Islamic Councils, Uki Qawrah, and the Director of Muslim Affairs, Al-Saleh Abdallah. On the menu of these meetings, the continuation sensitization, and after more than 83 people were contaminated by the virus of the COVID-19 in the day of Monday, April 13, 2020. The Ministry of Communication in charge of Post Telecommunication, Radwan Abdullahi Bahdon, has to explain the objectives of this meeting between the two departments. For his part, the Minister of Muslim Affairs, Culture and Waqf Property, Hassan Barre, welcomed the cooperation between the two departments in the response to the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. The social sector group COVID-19 met today at the People's Palace to monitor and assess the situations on the ground with regard to food supply to households affected by COVID-19 in the various districts of Djibouti, chaired by Ms. Ifrah Ali Ahmed, Secretary General of the Ministry of Social Affairs Solidarity. The meeting provided an overview of the efforts made by social workers to deliver the food kits to their recipients in collaboration with the representative of the Ministry of Interior. the Ministry of Commerce, and the Secretary of State for Decentralization. The various malfunctions appeared during this effort, and the participants undertook to iron them out by relying on the coordinationist dynamic already in peace. Looking, the vulnerable population is cope with the economic and social constant of the pandemic. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Social Affairs, Ifrah Ali Ahmed, also noted the group with satisfaction is the contribution of young volunteers in the fight of mobilization of local authorities, particularly to better target vulnerable households and new groups affected by crisis to make food distribution operation more fluid. Still in our section is on the solidarity of the fight against COVID-19, the National Education and its employees have collected an amount of 12 million of our francs and handed over this check today. The check was delivered by the Secretary General of the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mohamed Abdallah Mahyub. The Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, in collaboration with the Minister of Decentralization, to distribute food to the regional capital of the Tadjoura region at these times of the health crisis for COVID-19. The government of Djibouti has adopted containment to combat the spread of a virus. Containment has had a negative impact on the living conditions of households with daily jobs through the country. The Ministry of Social Affairs Solidarity, in collaboration with the Ministry of Decentralization, has been conducting food distribution programs since 25 March 2020. The Ministry of Social Affairs Solidarity and the Department of Decentralization began the gradual delivery of food in the regional capital of Tadjoura. The prefect of Tadjoura, Hassan DABALEH, recalled in his speech the distribution are organized with the support of and coordination of the regional prefecture and the regional councils with a methodology of community and local targeting. On this occasion, the beneficiaries' population did not fail to thank the President of the Republic for this praiseworthy initiative in the midst of a health crisis which has instituted a general containment. The President of the Regional Council of Tadjoura, Mr. HOUSSEIN, accompanied by the head of the Education Department, visited the basic school of Sagalou on Monday, April 13, to inquire about the proper functioning of a school canteen. In this period of a pandemic where schools are closed, the Ministry of National Education has decided to reopen the canteens of rural schools so that students from rural area can have daily meals. This very commendable initiative was appreciated by the parents, who did not fail to express their gratitude and appreciations to the Minister of Education at this as this decision will bring relief to parents in this time of crisis. The President of the Regional Council, as well as the education officials, have also ensured strict compliance with the various measures on the part of students, namely hand washing and social distancing. For his part, the President of the Regional Council, Hussein Omar, has congratulated the school's principal, staff of the canteens, and the management committee, who have worked to serve quality and balanced meal for the pupils. For the international scene, COVID-19 is 10 times more deadly than influenza A H1N1. According to the World Health Organization, a vaccine is needed to completely interrupt the transmissions of COVID-19. The World Health Organization said, estimating that this new coronavirus is 10 times more deadly than influenza A. The World Health Organization said a safe and effective vaccine is needed to completely interrupt the transmissions of COVID-19, which has killed nearly 150,000 people worldwide. The era of globalization means that the risks of reintroductions and resurgence of COVID-19 will continue. Ultimately, the development and distribution of safe and effective vaccines will be necessary to completely interrupt transmission. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.